You do right by me, my girl, and I'll do right by you." She both loved him and slightly feared him, and she dreaded his anger. Now there would be one of those awful rows in which she knew she couldn't hope to look to her mother for support. It would be the end of her Friday evenings with Wayne and Shirl and the gang. Already they teased and pitied her because she was treated as a child. Now it would be total humiliation. Her first desperate thought was to hire a taxi and to chase the bus, but she didn't know where the cab rank was, and she hadn't enough money, she was sure of that. She could go back to the disco and see if Wayne and Shirl and the gang between them could lend her enough. But Wayne was always skint, and Shirl too mean, and by the time she had argued and cajoled, it would be too late. And then came salvation. The lights had changed again to red, and a car at the end of a tail of 4 others was just drawing slowly to a stop. She found herself opposite the open left-hand window and looking directly at 2 elderly women. She clutched at the lowered glass and said breathlessly, "Can you give me a lift? Anywhere Cobb's Marsh direction? I've missed the bus. Please." The final desperate plea left the driver unmoved. She stared ahead, frowned, then shook her head and let in the clutch. Her companion hesitated, looked at her, then leaned back and released the rear door. "Get in, quickly. We're going as far as Holt. We could drop you at the crossroads." Valerie scrambled in, and the car moved forward. At least they were going in the right direction, and it took her only a couple of seconds to think of her plan. From the crossroads outside Holt, it would be less than half a mile to the junction with the bus route. She could walk it and pick it up at the stop before the Crown and Anchor. There would be plenty of time. The bus took at least 20 minutes meandering round the villages. The woman who was driving spoke for the first time. She said, "You shouldn't be cadging lifts like this. Does your mother know that you're out? What you're doing?" Parents seem to have no control over children these days. "Silly old cow," she thought. "What business is it of hers what I do?" She wouldn't have stood the cheek from any of the teachers at school, but she bit back the impulse to rudeness which was her adolescent response to adult criticism. She had to ride with the 2 old wrinklies. Better keep them sweet. She said, "I'm supposed to catch the 9:40 bus. My dad'd kill me if he thought I'd catched a lift. I wouldn't if you was a man." "I hope not. And your father's perfectly right to be strict about it. These are dangerous times for young women, quite apart from the Whistler. Where exactly do you live?" "At Cobb's Marsh. But I've got an aunt and uncle at Holt. If you'll put me down at the crossroads, he'll be able to give me a lift. They live right close. I'll be safe enough if you drop me there, honest." The lie came easily to her, and was as easily accepted. Nothing more was said by any of them. She sat looking at the backs of the 2 grey, cropped heads, watching the driver's age-speckled hands on the wheel. Sisters, she thought, by the look of them. Her first glimpse had shown her the same square heads, the same strong chins, the same curved eyebrows above anxious, angry eyes. They've had a row, she thought. She could sense the tension quivering between them. She was glad when, still without a word, the driver drew up at the crossroads, and she was able to scramble out with muttered thanks and watch while they drove out of sight. They were the last human beings, but one, to see her alive. She crouched to change into the sensible shoes which her parents insisted she wear to school, grateful that the shoulder bag was now lighter, then began trudging away from the town towards the junction, where she would wait for the bus. The road was narrow and unlit, bordered on the right by a row of trees, black cutouts pasted against the star-studded sky, and on the left, where she walked, by a narrow fringe of scrub and bushes, at times dense and close enough to overshadow the path. Up till now she had felt only an overwhelming relief
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.